It is ordered, adjudged, and decreed that Walter McMillan is to face death by electrocution.
This is my dad, sir.
Sit down, young man.
John, I want you to sit down now.
He ain't do nothing wrong.
Please, Judge, hold on one second.
I won't say it again. Sit down.
Not if you gonna kill my dad for no reason. You killing my family, sir, you!
Now it's clear to me that this trial was constructed with lies. When you take a black man and you put him on death row a year before his trial, when any evidence proving his innocence is suppressed and anyone who tries to tell the truth is threatened, that's not justice. That's not right.
You ain't quitting, is you?
No, sir.
This is from Argentina. Hi.
Karen, nice to meet you, Alexis.
Okay, ladies, thanks for the time. Congratulations for this powerful movie. And the first question is, what do you know about the story of Walter and Brian before this film?
I had read the book a couple years ago because of Destin. Destin had told me to read it, just based off of a dinner conversation of me, probably pontificating about how much I would love to help and wanting to understand the world better. And he told me that he felt like Brian's book would upset me, but it would also really empower me at the same time, and it was so true. So Brian's work and his story has stuck with me for many years now, so when the opportunity came to participate in the film, it was like, it felt perfect.
Mm-hmm. And what was your first feeling when you read the script?
When I read the script, I was like, this is an opportunity to share a story and share the lives of people that we may not know about, but that we absolutely should.
Do you remember what was your first feeling when you read about this story, about Brian and Walter?
It felt very familiar. Unfortunately, we've seen so many stories like this. We've encountered so many wrongful convictions and unjust murders. Over the past. I'm 32. For the past, me actually remembering the last 15, 20 years. So it's something that I felt like I was finally in a place in my career, in my life, that I could really tell this story the right type of way. I could put it together and really shine a light on this story. So, yeah, I felt upset and angry, but I also felt motivated and how can I get this story out there? So it really pushed me to kind of make the movie.
Mm-hmm. In your case,
it is familiar in how we are perceived and how things happen. My grandmother used to say, even when we compare ourselves, black man can't make white man mistakes. So she said, remember that the rest of your life. So she was already telling me at the age of 8 or 9 or 10 that it's going to be a different set of rules for us.
Yep.
And those rules can be catastrophic when they are executed in a sinister way. And so in this movie, Michael B. Jordan takes on this incredible story of Brian Stevenson that we all need to get familiar with because it's the most important film I've ever been a part of.
Mm-hmm. How close to Brian Stevenson did you work in the shooting?
Very close. He was off really trying to save the world, He was, coming back from the Supreme Court, coming straight to set, leaving set, going back to another, court case. He was he's working, So he was always there to answer a text or a phone call. He was there every step of the way during the script development process to make sure we got his story the right way. So yeah, I got pretty close with him. I'm actually honored to call him a friend.
The film is based in your book, Just Mercy.
Yes.
So how much in the film is fact, is real, and how much is fiction?
Yeah, they were very faithful to the book. There's very little that's changed. I worked with some other people on the case, and so the Eva character that Bree plays is more of a composite than sort of what actually happened. It took obviously a lot longer. There were some other turns, but it's a pretty faithful telling of the story. So I was really proud that they were so committed to doing it right, to kind of getting the story out there in a way that was faithful to the book.
And do you remember your first encounter with Walter?
Yes. I actually met, as is depicted in the film, I met 5 people all on the same day. I knew I was going to take on 5 cases, and it was just one client after one client. And Walter came in, and he was sad, and he was dispirited, and he told me that he was innocent. And at the time, I couldn't really appreciate that. When I got back home and I started reading his transcript, it became really clear to me that he was, in fact, innocent. And I couldn't wait to get back to death row to start talking with him, to start working with him. And then when I met his family, I began to realize that when we put innocent people in jail and prison, we don't just convict and condemn that person, we convict and condemn their families, their communities. And that's what made the importance of the case so significant for me.
What is the most complicated part from make this kind of character? You know, character based in real persons. What is the most complicated part as an actress?
I mean, the fear is just that they'll be disappointed. That's really, at the end of the day, at least for me, like what puts extra fuel into it is you're like, it's not just up to my imagination. This is representing somebody. And in particular with this film, it's also representing really important work that's been done. So it meant having lots of conversations with Eva that were just wonderful, heart-opening, meaningful conversations, and getting a sense of not just who she is, but how this work changes you.
Yesterday, when I saw the film in the screening, I have a question in my mind, and this question is, how is possible that that penalty still exists right now here in this country? And I don't have an answer. Do you have an answer?
I love that you're questioning your thoughts, and I love that you're questioning the very fabric of our reality, because that's where change really begins, is the questioning. And everybody might have a different answer to why that is. There's, of course, maybe there's the legal answer to that, but I think one huge thing that this film brings is the opportunity of intimacy of what it is that you're questioning, and the opportunity to maybe question it in a way that you hadn't questioned before.
The last question. What do you think? Why does this country still have the penalty?
Yeah, I think we're still governed by the politics of fear and anger. We're still in the haze created during that era when we had politicians preaching to us, be afraid and be angry. And when you allow yourself to be governed in that way, you tolerate things you should never tolerate. You accept things you should never accept. We have to change the question for people in this country. I don't think the threshold question of the death penalty is, do people deserve to die for the crimes they've committed? The threshold question is, do we deserve to kill?